You don't even have to be transparent. You could secretly ban one party's candidate or all of its candidates.
Some Twitter users might love the idea that there's going to be absolutely no moderation and no rules at all.
One of the things I've found out as the President of the United States, I get to spend a lot of that money.
The Twitter freakout over Elon Musk's purchasing of the platform has begun. Joe Biden thinks the entire military should go green. The border is now Trump's fault, according to Jen Psaki, and a bunch of other wildness happening in the news today. Thanks so much for tuning in to Daily Caller Live. My name is Jobob. Daily Caller Live starts right now.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
That might be the only brown guy on earth named Jobob.
That isn't actually their name, Jobob.
Live from the dingy bunker, completely cut off from the outside world, except for you fine folks. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live. Thanks so much for tuning in this morning. On today, it is April 26th, the year of our Lord 2022. Day after my wife's birthday. Happy birthday, babe. Took yesterday off doing that whole thing, but the news didn't stop, and we're continuing to press on with the news of the day. Starting off with, of course, the biggest news of for a while. Is it the end-all, be-all news? No. But is it massive news? Absolutely freaking yes. Elon Musk's bid to buy Twitter is approved by the Twitter board. Now, it's weird to me, and I've said this a number of times before, especially on this show. It's weird that the board had to approve of Elon Musk's purchase. You couldn't just buy it. It's a public company. But such is how these things work. But anyways, Elon Musk, if you haven't heard, which everybody has heard by now, was able to purchase Twitter for $42 billion. And that sale was approved yesterday by the Twitter board, which prompted some craziness and some freakouts on the lefty side of the aisle. I want you to check out some of these videos. This is from MSNBC First. Ari sitting here making some interesting comments that I thought were hilarious. Check this out, and we'll get some comments on the other side. Watch this.
You own all of Twitter or Facebook or what have you. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't even have to be transparent. You could secretly ban one party's candidate or all of its candidates, all of its nominees, or you could just secretly turn down the reach of their stuff and turn up the reach of something else, and the rest of us might not even find out about it till after the election. Elon Musk says this is all to help people because he is just a free speech, philosophically clear, open-minded helper.
All right, I'm just curious. In the comment section, does anybody else want to tell him? Anybody want to tell him the blatant and blaring hypocrisy coming from your lefty media? Yet again saying, oh no, if Elon Musk owns Twitter, they might ban one of the leading political candidates of an entire party, and nobody would know. They might completely shut them out of the platform or even turn down their reach just a little bit. I honestly don't know if he was saying that ironically. I think that particular MSNBC host was being serious. But the glaringly obvious is the case of the former president, Donald Trump, who was kicked off of Twitter entirely. That's what this guy's worried about. This guy's worried about people getting kicked off of Twitter. Who knows what they can do? They can kick people off Twitter. Yeah, like the former freaking president of the United States, who was booted off while he was the president of the United States, by the way. This wasn't after he left office. So there's that, on top of countless other congressional members of Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene's, I think, main Twitter account is still locked out, along with a bunch of other ones that haven't made the news as of yet, or at least that I can't recall off the top of my head. But just hilarious. The unawareness, I'm going to blame it on unawareness. Because I'm not one of the people, sometimes I think, these guys are super smart people on MSNBC, on CNN, but they're doing the work of their side and their side only. I also just think they might be completely and totally and utterly incompetent. So that's where I think this is. I want to get to this. If you haven't already, click the little like button, click the little share button. There's a couple thousand you watching. I really appreciate you doing that because it helps us out quite a bit. But also, this video from Brian Stelter on CNN is, again, very funny. The most fun I've had with this Twitter story is watching the entire lefty media freak out and lose their minds and say things that are so utterly crazy and utterly hypocritical that I don't know. It boggles the mind. Watch this from Brian Stelter on CNN.
Look, who knows? I think that's an example of a broader question for Twitter, which is if you get invited to something where there are no rules, where there is total freedom for everybody, do you actually want to go to that party? Or are you going to decide to stay home? And that's a question for Twitter users. Some Twitter users might love the idea that there's going to be absolutely no moderation and no rules at all. Others might not want to be anywhere near that. Am I crazy, Matt?
No, you're right. And what happens to the advertising? I mean, if there's no moderation or little moderation, do the advertisers stay away? What does that do to the business prospects for Twitter itself?
I think that's very much.
So in the political world, a lot of people get hit for straw man arguments. There's Brian Stelter making a straw man argument saying no moderation whatsoever. That is not what Elon Musk is doing. Elon Musk is saying, hey, the algorithm is going to be open source so you can see what we are moderating and what we aren't. Obviously, there are rules on Twitter, and those rules aren't going to be completely chucked out of the window. They haven't been on even the quote-unquote conservative platforms. Talk to the CEO of Getter, if you're not on Getter, Gettr. Talk to the CEO of Getter talking about his moderation on their platform, and they also have to have some sort of moderation. There's no such thing as completely uncensored, unfiltered craziness, and that's absolutely not what's going to be happening to Twitter, yet Brian Stelter is assuming that it is. I want to get to a couple tweets from Elon Musk because I thought this was pretty interesting. This is his most recent tweet after the news came out. Up on his Twitter feed right now. I hope that my worst critics remain on Twitter because that is what free speech means. He also put out a statement that said, free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square where matters virtual to the future of humanity are debated, said Mr. Musk. I also want to make Twitter a better than ever by enhancing the product with new features, making the algorithms open source to increase trust, defeating spam bots, and authenticating all humans. Twitter has tremendous potential. I look forward to working with the company and the community to unlock it. So just by this statement alone debunks what Brian Stelter on CNN is saying that we're going to make the algorithms open source, which means, if you're not familiar with it, the algorithms that manage what goes into your Twitter feed and your Facebook feed, Instagram feed, TikTok feed, whatever social media platform you have. The algorithms for all of these social media companies are behind closed doors. What Elon Musk is saying is we're going to make these algorithms, these programs that cultivate what goes onto the site open and viewable to everyone, meaning that hopefully they can trust what's going on in their Twitter feeds. But that tweet from Elon Musk and the statement wasn't without vitriol from the super leftiest of the lefties. Sean King, who's a well-known BLM activist type person, Sean King has some serious problems. I'll leave it at that. But he tweeted this, which I thought was freaking hilarious. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this take on Elon Musk taking over Twitter. Sean King says, at its root, Elon Musk wanting to purchase Twitter is not about left versus right. It's about white power. The man was raised in apartheid by white nationalists. He's upset that Twitter wouldn't allow white nationalists to target, harass people. This is his definition of free speech. Yeah, dude. Okay. Tony in the comment section says free speech is now hate speech. Yeah. Question mark. Greta says white power LMFAO. Yeah, this is a real tweet from a real person who is verified on Twitter, Sean King, who unfortunately I think has some problems of his own that he is continually working through. So we won't make fun of him too much. But that is some of the way that people are thinking on Twitter nowadays. One of the other things I wanted to bring up too, which is I think is interesting that I think a lot of you would be interested in, is will Trump get back on Twitter? I think that is a two-pointed question. The first question is whether or not his account would be reinstated by the new ownership that is coming into the Twitter offices. And I would be willing to bet that answer is yes. I would be willing to bet that Elon Musk will allow Donald Trump back on Twitter. As for whether or not Donald Trump will tweet from Twitter, that remains to be seen. He released a statement to Fox News that says, "I'm not going on Twitter. I'm going to stay on Truth. We're taking in millions of people, and what we're finding is that the response on Truth is much better than being on Twitter. The bottom line is, no, I'm not going back to Twitter." That is from the President of the United States, or former President of the United States, Donald Trump, talking about Twitter. Whether or not he'll go on, he says no. So the twofold is, one, I do think Elon Musk probably lets him back on Twitter, and two, I don't actually know if he tweets. So we'll see. He says no, but dang it, dude, it would be so much fun for the rest of us if the former president of the United States was back on Twitter. I was going to save this to the end, kind of some carrot and stick type of stuff, but here's some goodness. Here's some funny, hilarious goodness coming out of the TikTok world. If you're not familiar with TikTok, TikTok is owned by Chinese corporations, which, if you're not familiar with China and their corporations, the Chinese Communist Party is ingrained in everything that their corporations do. Some of your TikTokers, again, ranting on a platform owned by genocidal maniacs, the CCP in China, took to TikTok to talk about how bad it was that Elon Musk is taking over Twitter. Watch this. This is some juicy goodness. If you haven't already, I would really, really appreciate it if you click the little like button, click the little share button. If you don't want it, the little like button is free. It doesn't cost you anything. Maybe this makes you mad. Maybe this makes you happy. Maybe this makes you laugh. Click the little emoji button thing. There's several hundred more of you watching this than have clicked the little like button. So I would appreciate you doing that. Helps us get the word out and spread it a little bit more. Anyways, without further ado, here's some TikTokers being TikTokers. Watch this.
Well, it looks like Twitter's gone. They accepted the money, and Elon Stalin is taking over. So Q Twitter, and goodbye forever, you insane Q-like forum. Or soon to be insane like Q-like forum. Peace out! Bye!
Elon Musk, this is directly to you. Enjoy Twitter. I just deactivated mine. I will not be reactivating it. Enjoy.
I deactivated my account and deleted the app. That's what I think of it. Fuck Elon Musk.
Today, Twitter has announced that they've been bought by Elon Musk, or however you say his name. I'm not interested in staying on Twitter anymore because of this, and I think there's a lot of people that are about to leave. So I just wanted to let everyone know that you can find me here. I'm going to also share this on Twitter before I deactivate my account, so that anyone who wants to follow me can find me here as well.
Hey, I did a thing today. I deactivated my Twitter account. You can too.
So it's a free country. We live in the United States of America. I'm not entirely sure that they're all from the United States of America, but we live in the freest country in the world. And therefore, guess what? You can't be compelled to join an online social networking platform. They're right to leave Twitter if they want. They're okay if it is their right to leave Twitter if they want. Having said that, they're turning to platforms like TikTok, which I don't know if anybody has heard, but TikTok is owned by Chinese corporations and therefore the Chinese Communist Party, who is committing genocide in the Xinjiang province across many other provinces in China. If you're not familiar with what's going on in Shanghai with the COVID lockdowns, there's that. So I don't know. I don't know what you say here other than, hey, man, if you're going to delete Twitter because Elon Stalin, is that what the first lady called her? The first they called her. If Elon Stalin, if that's what you think of Elon Musk, holy cow, wait till I tell you about Xi Jinping. But that's Twitter. That's the whole Twitter saga. Let me. We're going to change gears here and shift. Actually, you know what? I guess as long as we're being fair, Elon too. By the way, if you're a huge Elon fan, great. I'm a big Elon fan. I love everything he's done. He's actually pretty soft on the whole China policy stuff too. So that's interesting to see what it is. China manufactures a lot of Elon's stuff, and he hasn't been super great in condemning the CCP. So there's that in and of itself. So, we'll leave that there for right now. I want to get to this. Here's the president on Earth Day a couple days ago. What do you think about these thumbnails? This is Joe Biden. If you're just listening to this, the thumbnail was Joe Biden turned around, as he often is, not taking any questions. This is not him not taking any questions. He's just talking to the people behind him when he's at a podium, which is odd. But the Biden administration is now out to make the military climate friendly. Watch this clip from the president, and then the New York Post had a hilarious article about this. Stick around. We'll discuss on the other side. Again, if you haven't already, click the little emoji button, because this is hilarious. It gets funnier and funnier, unfortunately. Check this out from the president.
One of the things I've found out as the President of the United States, I get to spend a lot of that money. I get to decide where, no, I'm not joking. And we're going to completely, I'm going to start the process where every vehicle in the United States military, every vehicle is going to be climate friendly. Every vehicle. We're going to have I mean it. We're spending billions of dollars to do it. And it's going to matter. It matters. In my view, this crisis, as I said, is a genuine opportunity. An opportunity to do things we wanted to do, and only now have become so apparent.
So the Biden administration is saying, well, all of the military vehicles are going to be green and clean. That's what we're going to do. We're going to spend billions of dollars doing it. The New York Post put out a headline that said, Jet Set Biden vows climate-friendly military flexes gas-guzzling Corvette. The president, who uses large amounts of fossil fuel for regular weekend trips home to Delaware, admitted he has a hard time practicing what he preaches. I'm an automobile buff. I have a 68 Corvette. That does nothing but pollute the air, but I don't drive it very much, Biden joked, appearing to refer to his 1967 Corvette Stingray. Got the year wrong on that. But the president, the New York Post points out, says, hey, all of the military vehicles are going to be climate green efficient. I wonder if the president knows that Air Force One is technically also a military vehicle, and I don't know if he knows this, but it runs on gas, runs on fossil fuels. The not clean, green Joe Biden making some noise on Earth Day talking about this stuff. Before we run out of time, I want to get to this. We've been talking about the border for who knows how long. It's been overrun by illegal immigrants for the last year and almost a half. I think we have around 200,000 people coming to the United States illegally every single month. Highest numbers in the last 40 years, I think. Maybe it's 30 years, but record-setting numbers crossing the border illegally. And the White House is continuing to be badgered by it. Now, they're not being only badgered by Fox News, which thank goodness for Peter Doocy and the people at Fox who are trying to hold the administration accountable. But now a bunch of your mainstream media are also saying, hey, what's going on here? I don't know who this specific reporter is, but they asked Jen Psaki in the White House press briefing room, what's going on at the border? Jen Psaki, check out who she flames. You're going to be floored with laughter. Watch this.
That they know is going to only increase, as you just mentioned, after Title 42 is lifted. You talked about having a humanitarian, sort of system in place to deal with people coming across and increase vaccinations and that kind of thing. But in terms of, law enforcement presence at the border.
Well, I would just say if we just dial it back a few years to kind of what we inherited here, the former president invested billions of dollars in a border wall that was never going to work or be effective instead of working towards comprehensive immigration reform. As part of the president's proposal he put forward on his first day in office, he proposed investing in smarter security at the border, something he'd be happy to work with governors on. And certainly we're open to having that conversation whenever they're ready to do that. Go ahead.
So Jen Psaki saying, well, the last president, this is what we inherited. There was a massive spike in illegal immigration border crossing this day we took office, but we inherited it. Jen Psaki saying the former president, President Donald Trump, decided to spend billions of dollars, which I don't think is true. If I remember correctly, I think a lot of the border wall money got stopped by Democrats in Congress. So when she says, I think it was a couple $100 million, not to say that that's not a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But she's saying the former president wasted billions of dollars with a wall. Walls don't work, except for the fact when they do, which is along the border. Clearly, if we had a wall that spanned across all of the border crossing hotspots, there wouldn't be massive illegal immigration coming across the border at every turn. But again, she's blaming the orange woman bad comment from KP. Reading some of the comments here. She's blaming the former administration for, well, what they should have focused on was comprehensive immigration reform. That's what they should have focused on. I'll be honest with you. I was talking to friends about this over the weekend. Immigration seems like a very simple problem to fix. It seems like you can get 5 people from either side, 10 people from either side, put them in a room for 2 weeks, and they should be able to come out with a comprehensive immigration reform. Because really, the only thing it takes is a number of migrants that we're willing to accept in the United States, and then stopping the rest. That's all immigration policy should be. Why it's not getting done? Well, I have a couple of theories on that. It's a wedge issue that neither party really wants to solve, because then they can't fight about it. Democrats want the votes. Republicans want the cheap labor. So there's that. But in reality, there's really only one option. It's select how many immigrants you want in the country each and every year, because we can't take all of them. So that means there is a number. There is a number of immigrants that we can take in every single year. Figure out what that number is, and then stop the rest of them. This is not a hard immigration policy. It's not a difficult, comprehensive immigration policy. Another thing that Jen Psaki might have forgotten is, remember when Donald Trump was president? I think it was like 2017, I think. Maybe his first year, maybe his second. Not entirely sure. But when Donald Trump was president, they put amnesty for all illegal immigrants on the table, and Nancy Pelosi said, no, that'll solve the issue. And we don't want to solve the issue. We want to fight you on the issue until the end of time. So there's that. Let me see. Anything else we can talk about today? There's a couple of interesting things going on that we'll bring tomorrow, because just about out of time today. So that's going to do it for us today. If you missed any part of the Twitter segment, go ahead and watch that back on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Where else are we? All of the other social media platforms. And if you're attuned to those social media platforms, give me a follow on any of your social media accounts. Just type in JOBOB. I'll come up on Twitter, Getter, Truth, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, all of the social media platforms. I am hilarious on Instagram, and I'm going to be hilarious on Twitter now. Now I'm going to go on tweet more. At least I think or hope I will. I'm not the best at using Twitter, but maybe I'll get better with Elon at the helm. That's going to do it for us today. Appreciate all you sticking around, tuning in, and spending some time with us today on a Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday, April 27th. See you then. God bless America.